Braille captioning for today's Captain's blog was made possible by a grant from Brad Wilmot. Thank you, sir.
So, like I said, I reached out to you because the whole thing is, well, I can tell you the whole story. So there's a company who got rid of the fax machine. Someone's using it as a printer. The other day we went to go fax, and well, when they printed out the memory, all these documents came out of business clients, but the clients' personal information.
That can happen.
So I'm wondering what you can do to protect the information that's on these devices.
Well, anything donated to the Geek Group is, by law, everything is wiped. It doesn't matter what the machine is, every single piece of data is wiped. We use a very simple program. We boot it off a thumb drive, it nukes the hard drive. And it doesn't just like if you delete something on your computer, it isn't actually deleted. It's still in there and it can be gotten out. We use a special program that actually physically writes over all the data on the drive with random zeros and ones, and it's gone forever. It's different in how you do it if you want to clean it out yourself. But the easiest way, and if you're not donating it to the Geek Group, don't do this if you're donating it here, because we make use of the old drives and that. But if you have data that you want to get rid of, I can take you through 3 basic things right here and give you some ideas of what you would do.
Perfect.
Okay, with a desktop computer, your tower, take the side off. Usually it's just a couple screws on the back. And to know which side to take off is very easy. If you look at the back of the computer, one side will have all your plugs on it, like video and Ethernet and all that. They'll all be in one area. That's the bottom. When you set the computer on its side, that's the bottom, because these all go to the motherboard. So you set the computer on its side, you take a couple screws out, or a clip or whatever. It's usually pretty self-explanatory, and the side will pop off. And there will be a bunch of cages here. And you're looking for something that looks like this. It'll look like a brick, basically. And they usually have names like Western Digital or Maxtor on them. And it'll be pretty obvious. This is a regular desktop computer hard drive. They've looked like this for about 20 years, so they all pretty much look the same. And this will be tucked in up like this. It'll be mounted up in this area, usually. And it'll be in a little tray, and it'll almost always just slide out. There might be a couple screws to take out, and it'll just slide right out. So this is the hard drive. As long as you never want to use it again, you can do everything I'm saying. If you ever want to use it again, you have to be much more careful. But this is where any long-term data in the computer is only in here. There's nowhere else really to put it. Now you may have more than one of these in your computer, but it's going to be in the hard drive. You also have RAM, which is really easy to spot. It looks like sticks of candy, really. They look like this. This is what a stick of RAM looks like. When you turn the computer off, anything that was in here is gone. So you don't have to worry about this holding stuff in it. And RAM comes in different flavors, but it all looks pretty much the same. It looks like a big green stick of gum, right? This, the minute the computer is turned off, is empty, so you don't have to worry about this. Hard drives, you can take this out of this computer, drive it across town, plug it into another computer, and still get all the data off.
So what do we do to keep this data from getting in someone else's hands?
The easiest way for the home user to do this, take it outside and beat it with a hammer. Because practically, that's now a garbage hard drive. 90% of the time. If you want to be really, really sure, just take it out and beat it with a hammer. If you hit it hard enough that you're like caving in the top, it's never going to work as a drive again.
Okay.
If you drill holes through it, we've seen people drill a hole through it. That's a common practice.
Okay.
But physically destroy this.
So I mean, that seems pretty easy. You take it out and you drop it or destroy it, and you're done.
Yeah.
You're safe.
Yeah. There's no possible way for anything to be stored in this computer right now. There's no RAM in it. There's no drives. There's nothing. You can't store like videos, pictures, company files.
Okay.
All the stuff you leave in your computer is in your hard drive.
So here's my question. So say this business then gives it to a company, which their job is to resell them, clear them, make sure the data is secure, and resell them. Would they do that same process, or would they do?
Well, the downside is, and this is why I tell people don't do this if they're donating it to the Geek Group, because we do that. We refurbish old computers and we sell them for our Computers for Families program. This is a good hard drive until you hit it with a rock. you care about your data not being out. Right. So do we. I don't want your data going out in the wild. But we would like the hard drive to still work. So what we do is we run a special program on the computer where when you turn the computer on, it boots to this program. It doesn't even load Windows. And we nuke everything off the drive. And then for us, it's just a clean drive. We nuke it, we put Linux on it, and off it goes. So your data's gone. But the drive still works. But if it's something where you're sending it off to Goodwill or something like that, destroy the drive.
And I don't know if you know, if you have any experience with this, but a professional company whose job is solely to take these items, clear the data, and then resell them, would they be doing the computer program?
Yeah, they'd be doing the computer program.
And would it be, is there any responsibility on the business to protect?
It depends on what level of law they're dealing with. Like when you start dealing with hospitals and stuff like that, you've got HIPAA to consider, which is a nightmare. And there, you know, if you're getting stuff from schools or law offices, I mean, there's a lot of responsibility in dealing with other people's data. So we take that very seriously. Not all computer shops do ask questions, demand evidence. Because if it's some idiot 14-year-old kid in the back who doesn't know nothing about nothing, he's like, yeah, man, I like to just look through people's pictures. And say, yeah, just don't do that. And it happens. It absolutely happens. So know who you're dealing with. That's an important thing. With laptops, it's a little bit different. And see, the problem in learning this stuff is it's all the same, but it's all just different enough to be a pain. So on this particular laptop, this is just a basic Dell. When you take the laptop, when you go to remove the drive from your laptop, almost always it's easily accessible behind some panel in the back. So you look at the back and just look for where look for the symbols and stuff and things like that. And on here, we have a little symbol that looks like a can of soup. And that is usually the symbol for this is a hard drive. If you see a symbol that looks kind of like a can of soup, that's a hard drive. And you take off this panel here, which one of my guys already did for us. And this is the hard drive in the laptop. So normally they'll have a little flip thing and you pull that out. So we're going to pop this one out here. And if you don't care about the hard drive, you can do things like this. You just lever it out. Normally this will come out with like there'd be an attachment to it. But a laptop hard drive looks like this. They look very similar to desktop hard drives. It's still just a little shiny and black brick with plugs on one end. And you can see the plugs on this little tiny laptop hard drive are exactly the same on the full size one. This is called a SATA plug. So this is a laptop hard drive, and this is a desktop hard drive. And this will also be the drive you see if you have like one of those external drives that sits on your desk. Probably has one of those. These, same thing. You drop it, and it's done. They're old school drives like this. The mechanical hard drives are shock sensitive, so they'll break. Some of them even have glass platen, so if you like smash it on the ground and pick it up again, you shake it, you'll hear it sounds like it's filled with broken glass. So that's a laptop hard drive. Laptop memory, this is laptop memory. It looks just like desktop memory, it's just shorter. So same thing. So that's how you take, and once you take the hard drive out of this laptop, there's nothing in here. Now laptops, just like desktops, can have more than one hard drive in it. That happens. It's not terribly common, but it does happen, especially on big, nice ones. Now here we get into other interesting data. This is a fax machine. Most small, like home office stuff, is not going to have a hard drive in it. Some do, but they're kind of rare. You see hard drives in like big copy center stuff. Those will have hard drives in them, and they're easy to find. Just look for the thing next to it. It looks like a computer, or look up the manual online. There'll be like a couple screws on the back, and you pull it out. On a fax machine, there's still data in here, but it's not in an easy-to-get format. If you want to keep all of your secrets, you have to get rid of that. If you hold it up to the light, you can see this is your thermal transfer here, and that's got data. You can read it, especially if you have an overhead projector. That makes it really easy. But this is data, pages and pages of data. And in fact, if you turn it around this way, it's even the right reading. And this came from Topeka, Kansas. See, you can read that. Yeah, you can see the seal there from the Kansas Department of Health and Environment.
That's probably an official.
Yeah, so this is an official document. And there's pages and pages and pages and pages of stuff. So this is also really easy to secure this data. You just shred it, throw it away, burn it. If you're really concerned about it, just toss it in your grill. It's gonna smell like cancer when you do, but yeah, just burn it. But and nobody ever thinks to look at that. They're always thinking hard drives and stuff. Like, no, it's old school mechanical typewriter we're doing stuff. And then there's nothing else in here. There's no memory in here.
So, you know, you said that it happens, that people forget to wipe or don't wipe. It's totally an everyday normal thing for us to have people drop off computers with tons and tons of data in it. Some of it's very sensitive personal data. We take that responsibility very seriously, which is why the first step of every computer that comes in the building is we use the hardware. So in this instance, we had this company who was in a hospital, a doctor.
Okay.
And so all this information was saved, and apparently this fax machine was supposed to go to a company in which their job is to clear the data before it was sold. And it just didn't happen.
It happens.
It's crazy.
Yes, it happens. It's crazy to you, but when you look at the volume of what you're dealing with, like a company like that might get 1,000 machines a week. It's totally normal. Every now and then something slips through the crack. And if somebody's opportunistic, then they're going to take that and run with it. This happens. People do stupid things with computers all the time. There are computers sitting in landfills right now with millions of dollars in Bitcoin in them, just rotting away in landfills because people tend to do stupid things with computers every now and then.
And I guess the worst part about the situation is that there's nothing really that people, the patients, can do to protect themselves.
No, there isn't. It's once it's out there, and there's nothing you can do about it. The trade-off is overwhelmingly, it boils down to one of two things. You either have a malicious actor or you have an average person, okay, just who got curious, like, hey, there's nothing. Okay. If it's a malicious actor, there's realistically nothing you can do to protect yourself. Because you're going to go to a hospital, you're going to see a doctor. This is normal everyday stuff. 1 out of a million, out of a million, out of a million times, your data might end up in the public domain. But the odds on that, because of HIPAA, because of people as a whole are good, people as a whole are ethical, you don't have to worry about this stuff. This is not a thing, like, in your day-to-day life, you have honest-to-God things to worry about. This ain't one of them. If it's a malicious actor, there's nothing you can do to protect yourself. The thing that's on your side is statistics. The odds on them catching your data, millions to 1. The odds on them catching somebody's data, pretty good if they really want to do it. Getting your data, millions to 1. Don't worry about it. If they're not a malicious actor, somebody's going, oh, wow, I shouldn't have that. Nope, new kid or whatever. Or they'll call somebody like us and say, like, I have a hard drive of things I'm not supposed to have. Can you make this go away? Yes, we come in, and we've had people do it. We've had people come in here like, you know, I just got this computer at a garage sale. This happens all the time. I got this computer at a garage sale. It's got a bunch of, how do I clean this out? Because, and it isn't usually like, they're like, oh, I shouldn't see these naked pictures of this woman. It's usually like, it's full of somebody else's crap, and they've got 50 viruses on here, and and we do shit for them. It's easy.
Yeah. But really, at the end of the day, the easiest thing is literally just...
Yeah, just drop it. And if you're working on a computer, and you're just working on a computer, and you buy a new hard drive. Like 90% of the time, that'll destroy a hard drive. Hard drives inside are very, very delicate, and we go to great pains in handling them with, like, you handle this like eggs, you're very careful with it. But to be really sure, like if it's your data and you want to be really sure, take it outside and just spike it underground as hard as you can. Do that a dozen times, it's ruined. So that's what I do.
Alright.
And if you really want to do it for serious, come to the Geek Group and you can cut one in half with a Sawzall or run it through our hydraulic press because fun.
There you go.
And if you really want to get data off a hard drive, I have the perfect tool for you.
Okay.
You want to see how to really empty a hard drive? It'd be really fun and really excellent B-roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
Come here, I'll show you a way to properly fuck a hard drive. No, there's way cooler things than hacksaws. Oh, remember when I said some drives are filled with glass?
Oh, yeah.
I got a shot you're gonna like. Move the ladder, please. I'm gonna do a little high voltage. They want to see a good way to wipe our hearts out. Yeah, I got it. DJ, check your clip link.
Uh-huh. We got 5 minutes.
Okay, start your clip.
Yeah, how close do we
Come
get?
on in. You're fine. Nice to see.
I'll be back here.
Okay. Yeah.
You'll be fine. We're not actually blowing anything up.
I'm not allowed to kill recorders, so you're fine. So this is your hard drive. And Ed, put me on safety.
Excuse me, DJ.
You. Sure. DJ,
Yeah.
Funky, kill the lights.
Can do.
You rolling?
Yeah.
Ed, primary.
It's not going to be loud.
Wait, shut it down.
It's not going to be very
Move
loud
that
now.
a little bit so he gets a better shot.
We didn't have a safety light.
Yeah, we won't. I gotta fix it.
There's going to be lightning, but it's not going to boom.
Put it on my list.
If we were on Thumper, then you'd feel it. Then we wouldn't be in the cage.
Yeah. Can you guys walk us through what's going on?
Yeah, sure. Alright, so this is not our normal means of clearing a hard drive, but I just figured it'd be fun for the news coming in here. We're in the Geeker's high voltage lab at the moment, and this is a 100 kVA power transformer that's going to output about 15,000 volts. I've got two of them in series for about 30,000 volts at 100,000 watts. So what we're going to do is take our hot stick here and apply a little energy to this hard drive. And primary, please. Secondary. So this is what 30,000 volts does to a hard drive. Thank you, Ed. I'd say it's a pretty reliable way to make sure your hard drive is erased.
Can we get a close up of the damage?
You're not gonna see much of it. It actually doesn't look like much.
We need some magnetic viewing film.
Oh, Lord.
So it's a fun time. And here, here's a present for you. That only does.
That was a good hard drive.
Nothing else I give you a fun effing never.
What?
I'm scared to touch it.
It's totally safe. This is a broken hard drive. Yeah, anytime you need lightning, fire explosions, we're good for that.
We're broken hard drives. We got those too.
That was a good one.
You know, I actually have a question for you too. So you can everything.
Sure.
I saw Heather on the drive here. I had an issue a couple years ago in college where I bought a router and it was terrible, and I returned it, and we find out I didn't flash it, and so someone else actually bought the router, so it registered my name, and they were downloading stuff. Long story short, how do you wipe
But it
out?
doesn't matter if your router has your Wi-Fi data in it. Your router is just it's gonna get DHCP from the internet service provider, so that changes every time. And what do you care if their Wi-Fi password is the same as yours?
What it was is my name still registered to that router.
As like the registered owner?
Yeah.
So?
And then, because I went to Michigan State, and I was on the student network there. My
Okay.
router was registered to that network. I
Okay.
didn't flash it, and they were downloading Music, and then
Okay.
it connected to me.
I have no idea. I got nothing on that one. Any new user should, like, if the router goes back to the IT department, they should flash it.
Yeah, I got it at Walmart and returned it to Walmart.
I got nothing.
Alright.
What else you need?
Let's get some B-roll
Yeah.
of our items here. Give me this.
We could set up a system running DBAN if they wanted B-roll of that. DBAN's the
You wanna show
program
them what
we
DBAN
use.
looks like?
Yeah, we can show them what
Yeah,
DBAN looks
alright.
like.
Well, I'll get you some B-roll of like
Well,
the
here,
program
get
we
this
use
first.
back to
Yeah,
the
Let's
website.
get this first.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll go set up the stuff. That's the
Can I go with you? I just want to see what it's going to visually look like.
Braille captioning for today's Captain's Blog was made possible by a grant from Brad Wilmot. Thank you, sir.